pretty sure that this other video that I was putting up is not going to go up. I think I said some really damning stuff. I just, my legs are itchy. I was out mowing. Electric mower. I love the thing. I'm pretty sure electric mowers don't have the same amount of torque as gas mowers, and so when you run over rocks and the blades hit the rocks, that it's going to have the same effect on the blades as the gas powered mowers, which would probably have just a bit too much torque. Torque is, as I understand it, the velocity of the turning of the blade, the inertial, the velocity, the amount of mass that is there, and the speed and all that's going into it. Or is torque the moment arm by which you turn, that if you have a large moment arm, you can get more effective pressure. It's what permits you to take off lug nuts, and the reason why you don't use a short wrench and you use one of those big old contraptions they gave with your car, where you have to use this, those cross things, and you put it on your lug nuts and you spin that thing around, and it's just the same way as how you try to open up a jar of anything. You get that special contraption that lets you use your hand to get more leverage. I think it's torque. I may be wrong about it. The cross product. Is it cross product that talks that you get, that you deal with torque, the cross product? I'm hunting around. I find that half the fun of not really being certain is the mystery of thinking, that the mystery and the novelty of thinking you're clever enough to actually find out something that you may not really know. Skunk Baxter said something close to that in the talk that I heard the other day, and that was Skunk is his made up middle name. Baxter's his last name. But if you do a search on Google, you'll find him. He was a guitarist for Steely Dan, and that led to the Doobie Brothers later on. And then he left the Doobie Brothers, I think, about the time Michael McDonald came in. Not really. They were on Minute by Minute. I think that was the album. And when they made quite a bit of Michael McDonald songs, I think there was less parts for Skunk, and I think he went off and did something else. He left. I don't know what he did after that. Maybe he went and joined Clover with Huey Lewis and all those guys. McPhee, not McPhee. McPhee, that McPhee guy, he was in Clover. He was also in the Doobie Brothers. He came over to the Doobie Brothers, I think, after Skunk left. I don't think Skunk was in the second Greatest Hits album. I don't recall seeing him there. In the 80s, he was looking around for a way to do digital recording using hard drives. He got in contact with a friend. He he was looking at the potential that he could use a 40 megabyte drive to do some to to record a song. Oh, great! Then how what is the chances of that? 40 megabytes. What is that? Like a CD 600 megabytes. That's like less than a tenth of that CD. That would be enough for one song, about 6 minutes on a CD. I think that's what he was looking at. And he got talking to this friend who was doing military stuff, and that's when he got involved in missile defense, which is, I had no idea where he was in the government. He says missile defense, trajectories of missiles, in missile interception. That science. I thought he was doing. I thought he was planning terrorist strategies. Um, he was planning um, counter strategies for soldiers in the military to learn of how to get, retain, you know, terrorists. There are movies. I don't know. I know there's a movie has what's his name? It's got the guy that was in Oh Brother, What Where Art Thou? The guy kept talking about FOP. The Grease. That guy. Um, he where else? What other movies was he in? Not Sling Blade. He looks like that guy, but that's a different guy. The I think that guy was in another Cohen brother movie. Anyhow, um, he was in a movie where, if I'm not mistaken, where at one point he meets up with some terrorists, and among the terrorists is a rock musician who they befriended. You know, it ain't above that. There are rock musicians who could actually go out there and be among terrorists, not doing terrorist stuff, just being kind of there, maybe because some of those guys really, though they've been though they've been conditioned to be terrorists, would like out and they can't have that capacity. They're going to have a friend around who can keep a secret. It might be a musician. It might be, or this musician is just going to provide the music enough to help them unstress what may end up being a kamikaze mission, like those guys that ran the planes into the buildings. They believed they were doing something right. Um, Religion can do that. Religion can drive you to do the wrong things. Even Christian religion, government, other people have figured out ways to manipulate people through religion. The people were not really responsible for making these bad judgments. They may have been forced into it in some way or another, or other people were made to think that they were evil and were driven to it because they had no capacity to have any choice whatsoever. They were forced into it. What I say is rape, forcing anybody to do something they don't want to. Anyhow, terrorists are conditioned to do things by any means, usually religion, because religion can justify things if you don't give the people you're teaching enough context. If you take stuff out of context, you can really leverage people to do really pretty evil stuff. I'll just tell you, Jesus said to Peter when he cut off the Romans' ear when they came to get Jesus to take them to crucify him, because Jesus had conditioned them to realize that's what was going to happen. It was going to go down. He told Judas, go out and do what you're going to do, because he knew exactly what was in his mind to do. He was going to go off and get the Roman soldiers and the Pharisees and go and give Jesus the kiss of death. And then Peter cut off a Roman's ear by a different account, I think. And Jesus said to Peter, he who lives by the sword dies by the sword. A very kind of cryptic way, I think, of saying if you solve problems through violence first, you probably will never live to see the end result. And really, how damning an idea is that, especially after we see what's happening in Afghanistan right now, when that's where we should have been going to war, and we went to war with Iraq, and Saddam, though he's a crazy motherfucker, secular dictator, not a Muslim theocracy dictator. And you got Muslim theocracies all around that country. If we don't maintain that country, they'll come in and take it over. We had no effect. Really fucking stupid. It's going to happen. You thought you fixed something, you didn't do shit. There are Iraqis that we freed from that country. There are also Iraqis that we displaced, that were in families. Families got split. If you don't believe me, go and look up This American Life. There are guys out there who have expressed it. You can believe what you want if that's what you need in order to gain your sanity after I said that. But there is truth out there, whether you want to believe it or not. There are people that just can't trust anybody else, and there's enough of these crazies on YouTube spreading that shit. I'm not your problem. I'm just expressing something. I'm not controlling you. I'm giving you my opinion. And I believe my opinion has something backing it. You can do the research. If you can't do the research, why do you fucking have a brain? God gave you a brain. Use your brain. If you don't believe in God, you don't trust anybody, how are you ever going to get any fucking intelligence? You're going to make it up? Where are you going to get that? How is it going to enter there? There are people I could quote. A fun one is Mr. Crosby of Crosby, Stills and Nash. I used to think that he was a pretty smart guy, but all those guys said that when his ego is not being fed, he's kind of cruel. And but he said this thing about record executives. They wouldn't know a hit if it flew up their nose and died. Yeah, I believe that too. You've heard it from a lot of other people. And does he really even express that? And then turn around and get upset at Neil Young about his girlfriend, which is the reason why they can't accept him being in the band anymore now? Just go up to his Twitter feed. The guy's got something evil to say about somebody else. It's always somebody else's fucking problem, dude. It's his prerogative to do that shit. I can't make him not do it. I can only express my opinion. And people express their opinion about what I have to say. But I'm not going out and forcing people to do this. I'm just giving my opinion. It's my prerogative. I'm doing it. It's here, and get used to it. It's called freedom of speech.